In today's video, I interview another one of Shockwave Capital's traders that we paid out live on interview. So all you motherfuckers can stop saying we ain't paying people out at Shockwave Capital. That is simply not the case. I hope you guys enjoy this interview with Nikola. He's a really good guy and a fucking fantastic trader, dude. If you guys are interested in getting funded, click the link in my bio. Go check us out. We literally have the best rules ever. 15% max drawdown, 8% daily, 1 to 200 leverage. And we also don't have a bunch of bullshit funded account rules like no news trading, consistency rules, stop loss, take profit rules. All that bullshit, we have none of it. Remember back around like 2019, 2018 when prop firms started to gain traction on the internet and how their challenges were still the Wild West? That's how we are, and we're fucking changing the industry. Go check us out, get funded with Shockwave Capital, and join the fucking movement of making prop firms great again, dude. What's up, everybody? This is Nikola. I'm saying that correctly, right?
Yeah.
And we're pretty much, he's another funded trader that just is going to get another live payout on this interview. And we're just going to run through his trading journey, his thoughts about Shockwave, and overall a little bit about his strategy as well. So welcome, Nikola. Can you give us a little backstory about your trading journey and then how long you've been trading and everything like that?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Nikola. I come from Serbia. So basically, I've been trading for almost 8.5 years now, and the journey is kind of funny. I own a jewelry store, so basically we are selling the gold plates and the gold coins, and we form the prices every day based on the stock. And I was always interested, how does it work? Why does it go up? How does it go down? What's happening? And that's how I came onto YouTube actually to see what is a stock, and from there, rest is history. I was just like learning and learning and learning, and it was painful, man. It was painful. 3 years of learning and so on and so on. So yeah.
How did you go from learning to start putting that in practice to become profitable?
Well, back when I started, there was not a lot of mentors, so I had to do everything by myself. So literally it was me and charts 10 hours a day. Every candle, every breakdown of the candle every week, lower time frame, higher time frame, how does it work, why is it like that? It was pain, and it was painful. And I basically, I'm not wishing for anyone to go through that. Thank God for mentorships now, man. Thank God for mentorships. Proper mentor is halfway through the profitability. So how did I get there? 3 years of learning, and then, of course, like every trader, I managed to blow up 25 to 30K. I'm not really sure how much it was. And from there, it just clicked. Just clicked that you cannot chase money. It's not all about the money. You just have to focus on the path, and so on and so on. It just clicked. So from year 3.5, year 4, let's say like that, constantly profitable. Constantly. For like 3.5 years now, almost 4, let's say almost 4. And it's nice. I cannot say, it's really, really nice. Especially because now for my jewelry, I can read the gold chart, so I know in advance what's going to happen.
What was like the major thing, like the bump in the road that took you from being like unprofitable to profitable? Was it like a certain mentor, because you mentioned mentorships, or was it just spending so many hours on the charts?
No, I had no mentor. I learned everything by myself, a little bit from the YouTube, but the YouTube is here and there because there is not a complete material there. The point break for me was that I was stopped chasing money. That was the point, the psychology problem. Basically, the moment I stopped chasing money, that was the moment I started making it, because I was focusing on the quality setups, I was focusing on the path to correct my mistakes and everything. Before that, it was chasing, you know. I'm going to revenge. I lost 1% now I'm going to make 2. Then I lose 2. Now I'm going to make 3, and so on and so on and so on. So basically, the moment I started accepting my losses as a correct way to do it, and I stopped focusing on money, that was the way I found my profitability. From that day, every week, not every week, but majority of the weeks I was profitable.
I think that's a big problem when it comes to new traders, is that they are always chasing money rather than chasing good setups and looking for setups. And they look at losing as losing money rather than it being, oh, I just didn't take a good setup, or just overall just lost the trade, because that happens.
Yeah, it's actually a social media problem, the internet problem, because everything is shown like it's easy money, we're all driving Lambos, and so on and so on and so on. It's not like that. I mean, it is at a certain point of your career, but on the start, the first couple of years, just run away from that. everything that is showing off, just run away from that.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things I've seen with people coming into the trading industry is they get sucked in by that lifestyle marketers when in reality, when it comes down to it, to get good at trading, you need to be able to like just stare at like the screen for like 10 plus hours a day and really get good at it. And
the more
sorry.
you practice, actually, I'm sorry for interrupting. The more you practice, the more you're looking for you're respecting your trading plan, just like that. The more you respect your plan, the faster it's going to come.
Yeah, I agree. And during your years of just figuring it out by yourself, how did prop firms become on your radar? How did you hear about them?
I was actually trading my own capital. At one point of time, I was buying an apartment, so I had to withdraw it. And then I was a little short on to put the money for trading. And then someone told me that before I even started creating my community, someone told me there are firms that are actually giving you option to work with their money for a certain percentage. And then I started looking for it. And of course, when I started, it was FTMO, my fund at FX, and my Forex funds. Those were the top three. The one from, I think they're from Canada that actually got closed or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened. Anyway, they got closed. So basically, switching from my capital to the funded capital was a pain. It was pain, and the rules, the news, everything. It was so pain. But let's say 2 months after, it just went. That's the point. Not chasing money, just respecting the plan, and everything is going to come.
Did you have any major problems transitioning from trading your own capital where there's not really any rules to now you have to abide by a bunch of rules to get a payout?
Yeah, at the start I did, because when you trade your own capital, you can risk 2%, 3%, 5%, and as long as you're in your plan, it's fine. Majority of the prop firms, except yours, it's more or less like 5%, 4%, 3% daily drawdown. So you're limited. The 8% total drawdown, you're limited. You have to change your plan. You have to change your strategy. You have to work a bit more smarter than you're working with your capital, because one mistake in your account is gone.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like with a lot of people, they might be profitable with their own systems, but once they transition to prop firms, they have a really difficult time being profitable because you do have to follow a bunch of crazy rules and drawdown rules and everything.
Yeah, the rules are crazy. Rules are getting crazy. The craziest one I have had was IP rule. I don't understand it. The whole point of trading is actually that I can do it whatever I want, wherever I want, whenever I want. And then I had a prop firm. I had a 200K account. They denied and breached my account because I used 2 different mobile phones.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. The other one breached me because I was on a vacation. I went for a vacation in different country. They sent me an email that I opened the trade in a different country, and they breached my account. It's crazy. It's insane. And I replied to them, what's the point of this if trading is actually freedom? If I can trade from home or wherever I want, where I have internet, what's the point? Why are you doing this? Those are our rules. We have to protect, blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. So basically, finding a good prop firm is actually really, really hard.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that you actually have to pay attention to like all the rules that they post or don't post. You either have to ask them directly, like, what can I not do or what can I do? Otherwise, most people are probably going to breach rules that they didn't even know about.
I had a situation, it was a couple of weeks ago. I had a 10K account passed on, I'm not really sure what was the firm. I need to check my email because I have a lot of accounts, doesn't matter. I put the phone in my pocket, I forgot to lock it. And I opened the trade accidentally, sorry. 1 minute after, I received email, your account has been breached because of the stop loss rule. And I went to the support. I asked, where did you put the rule that is actually a stop loss rule, that I have to put a stop loss in a certain amount of time? Of course, I always put a stop loss, don't get me wrong, but it happened. It just accidentally happened. I opened the trade, they breached my account. They were like, we wrote it in our Discord, and it's a common sense. That was their response. And I was like, but I'm not in your Discord. I don't have Discord. I'm not using Discord. How am I supposed to know it? Because on your web page, you didn't write it. There is no rule on the web page. It's a common sense. We wrote it in our Discord, and that's fine. And I was like, okay, fine. Doesn't matter. Breach all of my accounts. I'm not going to use you anyway. So it's crazy. It's really crazy. The hidden rules are actually the problem. The rules are not that much of the problem. The hidden rules are the problem.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot better. Prop firms just in general would be a lot more, like a lot better industry if they did disclose all of their rules directly so that everybody can see. Even the ones that they don't want people to know, they should still disclose them, because you're going to get a bad name for yourself if you breach people's accounts with rules that they didn't know.
Exactly. I didn't know about this rule. I really didn't know about this rule. And I have a couple of people telling me the same. IP rules, stop loss rules, 15-second trade rules, and some other things that are not actually put on the website. And that is the big problem, because 80% of the prop firms have don't put those rules on the web page. They put it on Discord, they put it on, I don't know, whatever, they go on email that goes into junk, and nobody is checking that, and So yeah, those are actually the big problems of the prop firms.
Yeah, I agree. And that was like one of the major things that I was pushing with Shockwave, is that we need to be transparent about our rules, because it's going to stand out. And if we hide things, then it's just going to bite our ass in the later. So I've been trying to push really hard to disclose all of our rules, even our funded account rules, even the ones that most prop firms don't like disclosing. I want to disclose them all so people know what they're getting into and know how they can trade and how they can't trade. But one of the biggest issues is people, they still don't read any of the rules. They just think that they can buy a challenge and then trade however they want. And if they make a profit, they're entitled to it, whether it's on the challenge phase, going to the verification, or if it's on the funded stage and getting a payout, which I think is one of the biggest issues as well, is people just not reading rules in general. But in terms of your strategy, how did you figure it out, and what primarily are you trading right now?
Candlesticks. The breakthrough was for me was reading candlesticks. You probably heard of engulfing candles, and so ICT calls them candle range theory, but it's not exactly candle range theory. So basically, the body close of a previous candle, up or down, is generally my direction. Then I use 3 time frames to enter. So basically, the bias, I use it for, I don't know, 4 hours, daily, weekly, monthly, depends on what time it is. I use candles for a direction. So basically, if I got an engulfing candle from the previous day, I'm looking for buys. Okay, bullish engulfing candle. Then I'm lowering my time frames to, I don't know, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 4 hours, doesn't matter, where I have some zone to buy, whether it's support, fair value gap, liquidity sweep, whatever. It's all the same thing anyway. And then I'm looking for some structure shifts, some breaks, I don't know, something like that. And then I'm buying from that level up to the daily week.
And was this something you sort of figured out about yourself, or was it catered along the way after you started to watch more social media and stuff?
No, actually, I made it for myself. I never used social media that much to learn, because, informations on the social media are not correct, not complete. You cannot find any. So basically, this is the 3 years of learning by myself. I had millions of strategy. I had one strategy called ABCD. So basically, what was that? After a structure shift, you don't enter on the first retest. You wait for the sweep of that retest, and then you enter off that sweep after a minute structure shift or something like that. Basically, millions of strategy, but I don't like to be on my charts for that long. So I used to do my analysis for like 10-15 minutes. I put my alerts. I leave. I get my alert. 10-15 minutes. I put a limit order. That's it. More or less, that's it. If it's in the zone, I just market order it, and that's all.
I think I see this all the time with people, and it's like when they first start trading, obviously you have to put like the time in and the work in, but it's like as they become more profitable, the less time they spend on the charts. It's like they either see their setup, they take it, or they don't, and then they move on with their day. Is that sort of like how your trading goes right now?
More or less, yeah. For this account that I used on the Shockwave, I was actually on a vacation, so I had a lot of time to. So basically, I check my phone, I see if it's in the zone, I buy or sell, But when I'm trading, for example, because I spend a lot of time in my jewelry, 9 a.m. London Open, I'm there. I look for my setup. 9:30, I'm out. That's it. If I have setup during 9 to 11, I enter. If I don't get a setup, I'm there for a New York Open. If I get a setup, that's it. I started using orb with a 4-hour candle closes, but not as much. use daily candles most, actually, with 1 hour gaps or something like that.
And you have mentioned you have like a trading community. Are you teaching them this strategy as well, or how's that going?
No, I'm not teaching people strategies. I'm actually teaching people how to read the charts.
Okay.
Because the strategy that I'm using is made for me.
Yeah.
So basically, what am I doing? I'm teaching people how to read the charts, and I'm forcing them to create their own strategy. For example, if I want to enter off an order block on 1 minute, some other guy wants to enter off a fair value gap on 1 hour. So basically, the things that I'm teaching people is actually to read the candles, to read the zones, to react on the market. What happens? How should I react? How should I enter? Where should I exit? And I'm forcing them to create their own strategy and to backtest their own strategy. No demo. I force funded accounts literally from the beginning, because psychology is the biggest problem here, and people need to train their psychology, and they cannot do that on demo. So basically, funded accounts from 5, 10K, everyone can survive that. $50, $80, doesn't matter how much it is.
I completely agree. And I don't know how long you've been following me on TikTok, but like when I first started it, it was mainly more educational stuff and just breaking down my trades. And that's exactly what I was saying to people as well. Like, I can teach you exactly how I trade, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because everybody's psychology is different. Everybody reads the chart differently. Even if you have like a direct system that you learn from somebody else, you're still going to execute trades differently with that system.
Yeah.
So I think it's crucial.
Exactly. I'm not sharing my strategy. Nobody has my strategy. I do show them how they work, but not point to point. I just show them how do I read the candles, how do I read the zones, what am I expecting from the zone, if I get a candle that is rejected, when do I put on a lower time frame, and things like that. But I'm forcing them to create things that are good for them. My strategy is created for me. My time frames, my time spent on the trading view, everything. It's created for me. For them, they need to create. Of course, I'm going to check it. I'm going to help them if I see something wrong. But for me, everybody has to have their own strategy, and that's it. My candle reading and your candle reading are totally different things. I'm looking engulfing candle one thing. You're looking as engulfing candle is the other thing. So basically, how can we read the same if your rules and my rules are different?
So you mentioned you're a jeweler and gold and stuff. Is that mainly what you're trading, is gold?
No, I trade more or less everything, because the way I read the charts works on everything: forex, crypto, gold, metals, coffee, whatever you want, corn, doesn't matter. Basically, just the moving of the market.
What is your favorite market to trade with this? What have you seen the most success in terms of big trades?
Let's say USD JPY. I have a pretty good movements over there.
Yeah.
USD JPY in the last couple of days, couple of weeks, actually, I see a pretty good movements.
Do you mainly trade with candlesticks, or do you also tie in like news coming out in Japan and US to sort of tie into your strategy as well? Or is it mainly just reading the chart and for what it is? Sort of thing?
I'm not doing fundamentals, not that much. Basically, the only fundamentals thing that I'm using is not having a trade open when it's new.
Okay.
Because I'm a day trader, so fundamentals are not actually affecting me that much. My trades are like hour and two. That's it. I'm not swinging. I'm not using the bigger time frames to entry. So basically, when it's news, 10-15 minutes after the news, I'm back on the charts.
That's great. What have been your honest, transparent thoughts about Shockwave Capital, and has it been hard integrating your strategy within our rules and everything?
Actually, no. It was pretty simple. I know about that gambling rule that you had. I'm not really sure what that was. Something like 5 or 6% made in one trade, right?
Yeah.
And then you do the check. How do I trade? So basically, if I had a proper entry with the risk management, and I had 1 to 5, 1 to 6 trade, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me how did it work? I didn't really understand it.
So basically how it worked when we were enforcing that rule is because we have such high leverage and drawdown rules.
Yeah.
It would attract a lot of gamblers, but that's not who I'm trying to pay out, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody just hiked like 100 lot on a funded account and they had like a massive trade, that is what would get your account terminated under that rule that we previously had.
Yeah, because they were abusing the 8% daily drawdown probably.
Yeah, it's not, we don't have these drawdowns for people to abuse them. We have them for actual profitable traders with proper risk management, so they have more breathing room. Because on the traditional prop firms, they only have like 3 to 5% drawdown rules per day, which in some cases for scalpers, that's too small if they're taking multiple trades a day, you know?
Yeah, I've been in that position actually.
Yeah.
3 to 5% is a bit tight, but it's not that tight. You can always lower your risk per trade, so it's fine. 8% is amazing. I cannot say 8% is really, really amazing. Rules are actually pretty good. The only thing that I noticed that entry and the market prices are actually a 2 pip difference, 1 to 2 pip difference, but that's probably because of the fusion markets, not because of you.
Yeah.
So it's for scalpers. It can make a bit difference for the risk management, but it's fine. No big deal. Everything else top notch. I have nothing to say. Actually, I'm really happy with the profile. I was a bit disappointed on the split, I have to say, but everything else, it's fine.
The reduction in the split from the initial to going to live copy trading is just purely risk management in terms of sustainability as we grow. But we will probably eliminate that once we get larger and things start turning and we get more people. But have there been any other issues with trading with Shockwave or anything else you can think of?
Everything is fine. Literally not one bad thing to say.
Yeah.
Literally not one bad thing to say. Everything was perfect.
This is your time to be as transparent as possible. You're not going to hurt my feelings, and I don't want you to say those things if you think that it is going to be a bad look. No, like, you're one of our funded traders that's getting paid out, so we take your feedback in a higher regard than random people on social media commenting. So this is your time to be as transparent as possible.
Literally, the only thing that I had to say that was that the profit split, the cut. I thought it was not kind of fair for us that bought on the 80% to cut us down to 50%, but I understand why you did it. That I mean, trading wise, it doesn't matter because my trading is actually the same. I told you I noticed the little split difference from the entry and the market price because it's always lower or higher depending on the buy or sell, but also that's the fusion market's problem, not your problem. Everything else is the 15% drawdown is fine. The news trading is fine. Weekend holding is fine. I cannot tell you how many times I had to close my trade because it went into weekend. USD JPY, I had a weekly trade. I opened on Monday, buy. I had to close it on Friday on like 0.7%. The next week, it just skyrocketed. So everything else is fine. The rules are amazing. Actually, it's really up for traders. It's for traders. I cannot say anything bad about it. But the only thing that I had to object to is that removing the gambling rule and lowering the split, which I actually understand. I'm not happy about it, but I understand.
Yeah.
As long as I'm getting paid out, I don't really care. It's your rules. I'm there to follow it and to get my money and to make you money one day. Maybe.
Yeah.
So.
All right, you ready to get paid?
Sure, let's go.
I'm going to cut this part out. Can you just clarify the last couple digits of your wallet and the first couple digits as well?
Just give me 1 second.
Okay, cool. I'm going to send it now. USDC is pretty quick, so it should hit your account pretty fast.
Okay, my deposit is being processed. It's probably going to hit it now. Deposit successful. I received the money, by the way, just to confirm it.
The way we were going to close this is we're going to get your honest thoughts about Shockwave, the entire process, and then any way we can improve. And then overall, can you give some advice to aspiring traders that want to become profitable, either with Shockwave Capital or just in general themselves and other prop firms?
So basically, the Shockwave, it's really good, really good, and the drawdown is amazing. So basically, everyone that is struggling with the drawdown, the scalpers actually, should move to Shockwave. That's my honest opinion. The news, everything is made for traders. Weekend holds, weekend trades for Bitcoin, for people that don't want to rest, and so on and so on. For the new traders, don't chase the money. Don't chase the money, focus on the path, and funded firms are actually going to help you with that because you have to follow the rules. So the more strict the rules are, not the more strict, but the rules are there and you need to follow them And trust me, it's the path that you need to take. Don't do demos too much. Don't do back tests too much. Just force yourself to fix your psychology and don't chase the money. Stick to your strategy. Stick to your trading plan. The money will come.
Awesome. That's great advice. And I completely agree. Don't chase the money. Stick to a trading plan and the money will follow eventually. All right. Awesome. Thanks for taking the time to sit down with us, Nikola, and talk about your journey and everything and Shockwave transparently. Hope you have a good day and we'll talk soon.
Sure, man. Thanks.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Nikola. If you guys want to see more interviews with upcoming funded traders, like, comment, subscribe, and we are filming a bunch more. And don't worry, I know my camera quality isn't the greatest. That's why I bought a brand new 4K webcam. So all the upcoming interviews with funded traders are going to be a lot better. Quit fucking wasting all your time and money with all these other prop firms with a bunch of bullshit funded account rules and challenge account rules, and come trade with Shockwave Capital. We'd love to have you.